Hello everyone, my name is the Plague Doctor and welcome to my first challenge video on the channel. So this is Dying Light, but I can't stop running. Not for explanation, not literally. This run is based on the Dying Light event Viral Rush during the 10th anniversary month. So if you didn't play the event, here's the rundown. 97% of zombies that spawn are runners. Every time I'm outside, I have to run because they're so freaking fast. And if I stop, I basically die. But let's get right into it. I started by being, all the stuff that's boring. You can't activate events till after the first assignment. So I'm going to speed this start. Yada, yada, yada. And in case you're wondering the difficulty, I'm doing this on normal because on Nightmare and Hard, the virals don't show up on the minimap. So to make it easier to see, I am doing on normal. We start the run after phoning the GRE and start sprinting towards the cauldron where the first airdrop is landed. Naturally, I panicked the entire way there because you lose some virals and then even more show up. I finally find the airdrop to see nothing inside. But there's so many of the virals that they pop up in the cutscene, which I found pretty funny. I then run to the second drop while dangerously close to night, but it's too late for our local gang leader's men got to it first. But radio lady told me not to confront. But I had the genius idea of letting the zombies have a little bit of a snack while I try and loot. Sadly, I got overrun though. They died too fast. But to the third drop, and none of Rise's men, but zombies, and because of the event, more were running towards. We're all around the area. I found if I stood on a fence and killed the objective zombies, so the non-runners, no virals came except for like a few. After quality bashing heads in with a pipe, I opened to find Antizin, but the dumb GRE told me to destroy it. I protested but listened. Then I peeked to see if virals were waiting for me. But no, just a big one that had a face like a demogorgon. I ran because I was weak. Night was another challenge of its own. You had volatiles and virals, all wanting my sweet cheeks. I made it somehow without dying. I went to Free Stuff Guy and saw guns. In no playthrough I have ever seen this guy give me guns. I took them, but decided not to use them. I went to talk with my leader Brecken and volunteered on some negative negotiations meeting with Rise. I run a lot, never stopping, my legs burning. I make it to a top of a van outside at his gate, waiting for his men to let me in. So I'm just rushing around. I get overwhelmed and try to retreat and go back, but I got stuck on a spiky thingy and died for the first time of the run. I meet Rise, who tells me to talk to this one dude, who then tells me to turn on a communication tower. I spent 10 minutes running, doing parkour to avoid the hundreds of virals. I got to the building for power and go to open, but then I encounter a barf zombie. I try to kill him, but get overwhelmed. I go for a round two, and one swing knocks him out. I devise a plan of throwing the firecrackers that Spike gave me and distracting them. I then spend another few minutes climbing the tower for it to be salvaged. Instead of giving up, I sprint to a second one. This one was good. I make it to Rise, who then gives me a job of IRS and retiring these little packages filled with money from settlements. One by one, sprint by sprint, I got each one. Also, tunnels and bridges are heavy with virals. On the way back, Kareem tells me to find some note from corpses. You see, I'm psychic and I know the future. I climb the side to a high point overlooking a gas station, grab my hammer, and pretend Rise's man has a nail for a head. I find the note and leave. On the way back, a survivor channel pops up. I take a leisurely visit, bringing virals, and then soon enough, Huron's human population drops by one. I drop off the envelope to Kareem and check on Goggles, who was a little tipsy. He wants me to blow up a building, and of course anything with explosives, and you have my attention. Jay tells me to meet her by a school. We scurry from a boxcar to the side of a car without any virals attacking somehow. We oversee some men getting executed by the local gang with loud guns. And virals pop out because, of course, the sound attracts them. We run inside, although she tells me to go a different way because I'm special. The school mission is not affected by the event, so I'm going to speed it up. But it's a great time to say, because of the event, I got a gold tier weapon. But I decided not to use it because it would make the challenge easier, and we don't want easy. Basically, all that happened is we hope to find Antizin, but instead we find explosives, which mean we can finally destroy that building. I saw a weird green zombie. I thought the good doctor would like a sample. My favorite safe house is filled with virals, so I decided to try and use a shovel, but decided to just mow them down with my AR because there's too many. Night arrives, and with my safe house really close to the green zombie, I grab out a shovel and miss him and get swarmed by virals. I promptly go back and get a good day's sleep. I fill this one with lead and grab its flesh. I then give it to the good doctor, and he's pretty happy with the sample. I soon after get a call from Raheem saying he took off with a friend to blow the building up. I was jealous and took off to find him and set him right. I get to the bridge to find it all filled with virals and throw firecrackers to distract them, but the duration wasn't long enough, and I decided to kill them all. I almost saw his face, but then a Chemix zombie exploded and reset the animation. After I was able to see that it was Raheem's friend. Almost screwed that up. I look for Raheem while being chased by lots of virals. Close call, but I got inside a train yard and find him hiding in a car. I yoink the bombs to find that he set it and yeet on out. I lose my way and by sheer luck stumble upon the building set for demo. Turns out there were a lot of virals. I get lost for a bit, but it's okay. I check on Raheem, but was devastated to see that Raheem had turned. I lay him to rest. I ran back while being chased as always. I talked to Brecken about how Raheem just went to the little safe Haran in the sky. Jade knew. Blink of an eye and Doc's lab was being raided like a Clash of Clans base. I try to fight back but get beaten by a pulp. I retreat 5 meters and then jump attack to surprise, but I then get shot to a pulp. I let my viral friends have a little snack before discovering that Doc had been kidnapped. I go to Rise's base, and on the way, holy smoke, so many. I'm gonna just let this long clip play. Look at the map. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Well, I'm fine with getting shot, buddy. Jeez Louise. There's just so many. I encounter survivors who don't retain that status when I pass by. I go to the place and find that he was not outside. I travel inside through the roof to maintain my finesse, because why not? Rise's base is not affected by the event. I wake up with a big bonk on the noggin and see Doc with Rise. Usually during the arena, the zombies for the most part are slow, but because of the event, they are all speedy boys. I devise a plan of being on a container and kicking them into the spikes. Big boy president arrives. I die immediately. It's not a hard fight. I just die because I suck. I come back from the dead though and get a good few slices on it before round 2 virals pop up. I go back to the spike wall and do the same thing. One left before I kick the viral off, jump off, smack it with table legs, and then use a little bit of dying light magic and drop kick it. I finish the tank and Rise gets a little close to me, we'll say. I couldn't save Doc. With everyone's stormtrooper aim at my speedy guns on his legs, I skedaddle on out. I black out from all the running and awaken at a pier. I, having enough running around, hope to find a solution from the virals in a place deemed Sector 0. To get there, I have to travel through the sewers. The sewer trip is unaffected by the event. I have a sight to behold and get radioed by a person named Troy who leads another survivor group out here. She tells me that they're in a place called The Lift. I introduce myself and they seem pretty nice. She shows me a video of the government planning to blow us to smithereens, but they're prepared with a plan. I sprint over groups of virals, find a guy named Michael with a plan to explode apartment rooms to make a message. This mission was relatively normal except for a few virals here and there. Michael leaves me with the button. Jade is apparently also in Sector 0 and decides to team up with me. She tells me of a rendezvous point and I travel during the night. And, well, there's so many, but I somehow remain undetected. Rise somehow captures my friend, takes her to the museum, which according to Troy, is a fortress. I ignore her without a second thought. The museum admission is unaffected by the event, so we're just gonna zoomy, fast. Yeah, let's just say I tied some loose ends. Time is now of the essence, and the Haran bombers are on their way. I have to contact outside. In doing so, I have to go to an antenna location and reach the top. The sewer traveling that I had to go through was relatively normal because there were already virals. Although I was almost out past the demolisher, but instead of continuing on, I decided to smoke him a few times with a machete. I thought he couldn't fit. I ran so fast out. Antenna station traveling went smoothly until I get to the road below. I almost died, but I jumped the fence and accidentally vault into a bomber. No surviving that. I spent 20 minutes climbing and I was able to save her on. Close call though. I go back to Sector 0 to learn that Doc had another friend who was also a doctor, so now there's 2 docs. It was a bit of a trip, but I had to give the samples to him. Camden's lab was unaffected by the event. I need a signal to contact the GRE, to ask them how they doing, catch up a bit, all that. Except Rise answers instead, telling me that he's leaving the city. I don't care initially, but remember that he stole the data from Jade that I have to give the rest to Camden. Not only my legs, but also my passion are burning. I go fast to the bottom of the skyscraper, warm up along the way. I made it, and it's time for confrontation. I run from an absolute army, fell into sewers. Now it gets good. I almost made it the first time, but then I died, and I then spent the next 30 minutes dying. There's so many virals and volatiles. Volatiles I was expecting, but virals I was not. I lock in. I make it time to continue my advance to the roof. Long elevator ride later, my legs now on adrenaline. I run. I saw Kareem from Rise's compound. He warns me not to continue up on because it was too dangerous. He tells me a different way to go. I pay my respects by giving the same machete stained with Rise's blood.
That's good, right there.
I jump on a crane with a single viral. I'm too strong for one though. I then run more and more and more. I climb as well. My legs are tired, but my way to Rise, another crane. Rise tries to destroy the crane. It stumbles and in one final sprint, I accidentally forgot to hit the jump button. Got the second time though. I made it to the top. Time to face with the demon. We scruffle for a bit. He stabs me, I stab him, but I'm victorious. I have the data. No more Rise. The GRE will no longer threaten to blow her on up. I stumble onto the ground. My legs, they burn. But alas, I can rest knowing that I beat Dying Light during, in my opinion, the hardest event, Viral Rush. Thank you for watching. If you want to see the VODs of my footage, I'll post them on my VOD channel in the description below. Lastly, thank you, good night, and good luck.
Dang.